Many of you have seen the classic movie A Few Good Men, and even if you haven't, a production of A Few Good Men is going on now at the Comp Center, put on by the Fargo Moorhead Community Theater. So I have Matthew, he's the director of the show. Welcome. We've also got Daniel. He's one of the most iconic characters in the show. We will touch on that in a minute. You could say I wore my dress whites for the occasion.
Thank you.
So Matthew, if you could just kind of, for people that maybe aren't familiar, give us a rundown of what is A Few Good Men, what's the general plot of the show?
Yeah, so A Few Good Men focuses on two Marines who accidentally or intentionally, there's some debate about it, remains to be seen, who murdered another Marine. And it focuses on their lawyer and how he tries to investigate and puzzle through, like, who gave the order, what does it mean if somebody at a higher rank gave an order, and really examines both our ideas of justice and our ideas about authority.
You know, one of the things that surprised me about this, and I will say I did not watch the movie A Few Good Men. I've never seen it, but partly because my husband's in the show, and I didn't want that to kind of cloud my perception of the show. But there were a lot of parts that were funny, and I did not expect that. I honestly thought it was going to be like a serious courtroom drama. That's part of the reason I never watched it, because I'm not really into like super dramatic situations. But it was funny. But I'm curious, having watched the show now, and I've been in theater, so I have an eye kind of for like how things move and how things transition. And what was it like putting on a production like this? There were a lot of moving parts and a lot of people in different places. So what is that like for you, kind of creating this whole thing?
Yeah, you bring up some really great points about how many moving parts there are in this play. This play, when Aaron Sorkin wrote it, he was writing in the early 90s, so people were used to going to theater that was 2.5 hours long. Oof. And it's obviously been updated since then. Sorkin has taken another cutting of it and made it a lot shorter. So it only runs about 2 hours, a little over 2 hours. And so it was both encouraging the actors to find the pace of everything, to get it so that it was really tight and polished, and also that the whole process, just each scene flows really easily into the next one. You're starting the next scene as the other one is finishing. So I really owe a lot to both Brian Lynch, the lighting designer, and Lucas, I forgot his last name, but Lucas, we love Lucas, who did the sound. And they both transition the scenes quite nicely together as a unit to give us a sense of, oh, we're changing time and place, we're moving forward in time or backwards in time. And the other thing that I'm just so impressed with this cast, because this process from the first day when we read everything to opening night was 6 weeks. And that is an incredibly fast process, and I am just thrilled that all of the actors were on board at just running at a breakneck speed towards opening night, and were able to rise to the occasion and create such a wonderful and well-crafted piece of theater. I love the fact that you noticed that there's a lot of humor in this.
Yes.
It is so important for me as a director. I touched my mic. For me as a director to
and you would notice that because you're a director.
Right. I was like, oh, I did this thing. To have those moments of humor, because if you as an audience member watch something that is very heavy and sad and depressing the whole time, you're going to, by the end of Act 1, you're going to be like, oh, is this thing over? Like, what's for supper? You're going to be out of it. But if you're given moments of levity, moments where you can have a little laugh at what's going on stage, then you are able to stay engaged with some of those more dramatic, deeper moments that the actors are really working hard to put together.
I thought it was a very, very good show. I mean, the cast that you've assembled is fantastic. Now, you have one of the most iconic characters of all time, your Colonel Jessup. If you could, and even if you haven't watched the movie, you probably will recognize this line. Give us probably the line that is the most famous from the whole show.
Well, there's so much buildup and anger in it, and I don't feel quite the same way this morning. But
you don't have to yell, but assertively.
The line is, "You can't handle the truth." And
Yeah.
yep. And actually, the first night we did it, when we had, we had a preview audience. The opening night, there was an audible gasp, and it was like when someone plays, like when Paul McCartney plays his greatest hits, like, yes, we get to hear, Blackbird or whatever. It was You Can't Handle the Truth, and everyone went, oh, that's it, that's the line. And so
Well, it's kind of funny because, again, I've never seen the movie, but I knew that was a line. Like, everybody knows that's a line from A Few Good Men. So I was in the audience that first night. I had my 9-year-old with me, debatable choice. But actually, he's mature. He liked it.
I did apologize to him.
For
It
all
was nice
the
to meet him.
swearing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember that moment. You said You Can't Handle the Truth, and everyone was like, "Okay, it's happening. We're gonna see this now. What's happening?" So it was like very exciting. Everyone was super into it. I know that we just loved it. We just have a few seconds left. Tell us a little bit more. We have shows Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yep, at 7:30.
At the Comp Center. All the information is right there on your screen. You can buy tickets online. They also have tickets for sale at the door. And snacks. Make sure that you get your snacks when you get there as well. But definitely get out to watch that show. I cannot rave about it enough. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. So Matthew and Daniel, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Stay with us. A local program that's helping girls boost their self-esteem and mental health.